Hey friends, I'm doing a move every day challenge this year that my friend Christian, who's in the curiosity department of the Service Guild, proposed, and I want to give an update about my running practice. This year I have, as I've talked about before, kind of cohered around three main movement practices: strength training through bodyweight calisthenics, through convict conditioning, running, and also Tai Chi. And that combination feels really, 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 really good to my body. I've been feeling great from doing some days each week on each of those, doing Tai Chi most days, and then some strength days and some running days. And I want to talk about running today. And yeah, because it's been a bit of a journey, both over the years and also this year in particular. I did not run as a kid. I wasn't in a track team or anything like that. I kind of wish I had been in retrospect, but I started running at Maple when I was training there and kind of quickly realized, I have a runner's body. Like, my body loves to run. It just feels so good when I run, and it's one of the ways I can make my body happiest. And in particular, I think I'm sort of a distance runner where I love long, slow runs for like an hour or 70 minutes or 90 minutes. And also I overtrained early in my running career. I trained for a 5K, and then I trained for a 10K that I ended up doing just on a treadmill, but with a friend. Like, we both ran 10K and compared times. And in training for the 10K especially, I overtrained. I just ran too much and injured my body. And I'd already had some existing injuries on my right leg and from Lyme disease, and those got kind of exacerbated. And I took some time off running for, probably like 5 years, basically. 2019 to last year, I don't know. Yeah. I ran occasionally, but if I ran during that time, it was always for like 10 or 15 minutes at most, never these long runs. And I was really bummed about that and missed running, but also it would just hurt to run and not feel very good, and I was scared of injuring myself more. And then I started diving more deeply into the kneesovertoesguy stuff, ATG, Athletic Troop Group, I think is what that stands for, and doing that work. I'd done a little bit of it in 2021, but I kind of was overambitious and fell off. And so when I picked it up again, I was like, okay, I want to do the kind of minimum viable kneesovertoesguy routine. And he's got so many exercises and so much stuff, and they're all great. They all really do help with the knees and the legs and the hips and all that. But I was like, okay, what's the minimum viable stuff? And started doing backwards walking and the different, some of the movements that he recommends, and basically doing those somewhat regularly for a while, like really, really made prominent progress with my knees and my legs. And I still think they're not completely healed, but they're sort of sufficiently healed for my current running practice. And I don't get pain from running, and I don't feel like I'm injuring myself from running. I feel much more confident as a runner. So especially this year, I've really been ramping up the running as my knees have felt better, as my legs have felt better. And initially I was just building up kind of to 5K length again, from being kind of out of shape. And, I could run a 5K, but it was just like pretty slow and didn't feel that good. So I built up to that. And then I reread a bunch of books about running that I'd read years ago, that I just kind of for inspiration, but also for information. I love, some of them are novels, actually. I love the Once a Runner series. And then I was also reading Born to Run again. I read Haruki Murakami's What I Talk About When I Talk About Running. And then I reread this book about the first philosophy of running. I forget what that book is called, but that's basically like a run less, run smarter kind of approach to running training, where they have 3 key runs, and you do those each week, and then you also do some cross training and stretching and stuff. And I had based my training in 2019 on that, and then just still overtrained. I did more running than I should have, and I didn't have any of the kneesovertoesguy stuff then. So anyway, I pretty quickly realized that I wanted to do another 5K this year, and I did a 5K on a treadmill pretty early on in the year and had like a very modest time, but just got like a baseline, and then I wanted to train for an actual 5K. So I just did a 5K a few weeks ago in Prospect Park in Brooklyn in New York, and I think my time was 29:03, which is like, pretty modest, but good baseline. And I'd made progress because my treadmill time earlier in the year was like 33 minutes and 13 seconds, I think. I don't actually remember what my 5K or 10K times were back in 2019 and 2020, but I think it was about 29 minutes also. So basically I got back to baseline, and the race was kind of hard. For one thing, there were just a lot of people because it was in Brooklyn, and that was kind of overwhelming sensorially. But just finding my pace, and the first third especially, I think I pushed myself too hard, which is pretty common, and then was sort of tired in the second third. And then I found a second wind in the third and finished strong. And the third felt the best. But yeah, it just felt good to kind of establish a baseline, and that's a fun way to do it. I don't know, it's just fun. I mean, obviously I could run 5K on my own and time it or whatever, but it's more fun to do in a race for me. And to get an official time and that sort of thing. And just, it also gave me a mental reason to prepare for that as a milestone. And yeah, and because it was challenging also, I was like, I think I want to do this again, maybe later this year, early next year, do another 5K, but just like actually train more intentionally for it. I think my goal for this one was just to run one and to kind of get back to baseline. And I would like to train more intentionally going forward now that I'm kind of in good shape. And so I've been shifting my running regimen in the last few weeks. Based on that, I took some time to rest, and then now I'm doing something kind of based on the first program, but shifted to just make it like dirt simple to run. The first program, as they suggested, is very, I would say, like left-brained and very analytical and very specific. And I don't know, I'm not training to be the world's best runner, and I don't need it to have, like, precision is not the most important value to me here. Having fun is the most important value, and of course taking care of my body, feeling good in my body. But I can take inspiration from that program, and so I decided a way to do 3 key runs, but in a very informal way, where once a week I'm doing sprints, and then once a week I'm doing a tempo run where I have this playlist of things that are 90 or 180 BPM to run to, and which Scott Jurek recommends. I also reread several of his books. And so that's kind of a short, fast run, like 20 minutes or 15 minutes at a fast pace. And then once a week I'm doing one long run of, an hour or more. And that's kind of my favorite run. I just love the long runs. My body feels great. But the other 2 have been feeling really good. I thought that they would feel harder than they have, but I think because I've gotten in good shape at this point, they've actually felt pretty easy. And so doing sprints and doing a tempo run, and those are clearly the thing that are going to really push me to grow also, because I'm already pretty good at the long runs and have a strong baseline with that. But it's good to maintain that, and that's also what I enjoy. So and I love that. I love that sense of improving over time and just getting better at things and seeing my own progress. Like I do write down, I keep a log of what I do, and I can see, I'm getting better, and I feel better in my body, and it feels really good. This year I also started running barefoot again. I kind of paused my routine for a bit to just build strength in my feet and build comfort running barefoot, and I love running barefoot. It just feels so good. It feels so right. Before I was running in my dress Crocs, these like black dress Crocs, and they actually work fine to run in, especially if I'm not running a marathon or something. But people are like, why are you running in those? You should get some running shoes. And I don't know, I would just prefer to run barefoot. So I did end up running the race in Prospect Park in my Crocs just because I wasn't sure if they'd let me run barefoot or not. And it had also just rained, so I was a little worried about it being slippery. But in general, I prefer to run barefoot when I can, and that feels really good. And doing these 3 runs. And yeah, I can just tell that if I do this for, 3, 6, 12 months, this routine of constantly pushing myself a little bit in these 3 ways, doing slightly longer long runs, doing slightly longer tempo runs, doing more sprints or having less recovery time or longer sprints, or there's a bunch of variables you can tweak with the sprints in particular. But that's going to improve me and my running in general. And I'd like to do a 5K later this year, same distance, but see if I can just have a much stronger time. And, I don't know what it would be, but 28, 27, 26 minutes, something like that would feel great. And of course, some people can run much faster 5Ks than that. But given that 29, 33 minutes is kind of my baseline, I want to improve from there. And yeah, it just feels so good to be running every day. Like, I think running days are my favorite days of the week when I do movement. I'm really enjoying the convict conditioning and the strength training too, but it feels more like work and effort rather than fun. And I'm enjoying the progress that I get from the strength training, but I'm just having a ton of fun with the running. And my body, as I said, feels like a runner's body. So I just feel good in my body when I do it. And right now where I'm at, I'm actually able to swim pretty easily. I'm right near the ocean, the Atlantic Ocean. And so I'm trying to swim every day while I'm here also, go swim for 15, 20, 30 minutes. In the first philosophy, they recommend having a cross training with swimming is one of them, and maybe rowing's the other one, I forget. But swimming's, I love swimming. And it's interesting, actually, the last few days I've noticed I'm getting swimmer's high. I've had runner's high before, especially from long runs. It's usually long runs when I get runner's high. And that takes 60 or 70 minutes for it to kick in. But for some reason, just swimming for 15 minutes, I get swimmer's high so easily. And I think it's partly because I'm in such good shape right now. My body's just like giving me that dopamine and those endorphins quite easily, but it feels great. Like, my body just pulses with pleasure, whole body pleasure, and it feels real good. So that's very motivating to get out there and swim. And I'm trying to swim every day while I'm here. I'll be here for another week or so. I think I'll be able to swim after in the next place I'll be at too. So, which will also be along the Atlantic Ocean. So, anyway, I'm enjoying running a lot, and we'll see where I go from here. But my next goal is to run a 5K later this year or early next year, do better on time, and to train in such a way that I can feel confident. Yeah, I'm going to do better on time because I'm doing these three key runs, the sprints, the tempo runs, and the long runs, and working different systems in the body from that perspective. And I think that just is going to create the conditions for good consequences where I will run faster as a result and also feel better in my body. I think that's a big part of the goal. Is like, I did the 5K, but it was a little bit of a struggle, and I want to do another 5K and have it feel easy and just run faster with ease. And I imagine after that I might try to do a similar process with a 10K of like just establish a baseline and then keep training and see if I can do faster from there. But we'll see how my body holds up. I also need to make sure to keep doing this knees over toes guy stuff, which I've been a little lax on recently. But it does really help my knees and legs and make me feel good, make me feel safe running in my legs with my legs and my knee injuries from the past. So that's a little running update, and thanks for listening. Would be curious to hear any thoughts you have on running, if you have them, in the comments. Okay, take care, friends.